I didn't think I would say this, but this little seating area over here, this little nook, might be one of my favorite parts of the house.
That was a Freudian slip by Mikey. The whole experience, he saw this $32 million house, all these volumes, all this stuff. But what happened to him? He felt uncomfortable. The architect, instead of making him comfortable in the space, he made him uncomfortable, where he found this little rat hole nook as the most comfortable place where he would want to hang out with. And that tells you everything about this property you need to know. Have you ever heard the term form follows function? It's an important architectural philosophy that suggests that the shape of a building should be primarily based upon its function or purpose. In other words, the design should be driven by its function rather than aesthetic considerations alone. The architect of this property didn't really believe in that philosophy. I'm the How to Buy a Mansion guy. I've critiqued over 1,000 mansions. I buy mansions for my clients. My name is Arvin Haddad. Let's get the show started.
What's up, everybody? It's Enes here. Welcome to another episode. This week's video is very special. We're here in Hollywood Hills and about to tour arguably one of the most iconic homes ever built here in Los Angeles.
Do you think this property is iconic? Now you're like, Arvin, I hear people using the word iconic, and what is actually a definition? What's the criteria for a property to be considered iconic? Okay, I'll give you the list. It needs to have at least, half of or 2, 3, 4 elements of this list. It doesn't have to have all of them, but just one is not enough, okay? And you decide by the end of the video if it's iconic or not, and I'll tell you my personal opinion. Okay, for a property to be considered iconic, it needs to be architecturally significant. It needs to have some sort of a historical importance, cultural impact, or a symbolic value. It needs to be aesthetically appealing to multiple generations, so it can't be a trend, right? It has to, withstand the test of time. Also, it could have some sort of a technological or innovation that has never been done before. And last but not the least, it needs to be memorable, okay? Those are criteria. Make sure you make your decision by the end of the video. I'll tell you what I think.
This home has 6 bedrooms, 9 baths, 11,184 square feet of interior space, built on a 38,965 square foot lot, and this property is currently on the market for $32 million. Now, let's begin. This home is nicely set back from the street level, and we have the gates opening up to the private driveway of this home. Driveway is nicely landscaped.
All right, flaws exposed. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to pick out 3 flaws within this frame. 3, 2, 1. Okay, the private driveway is downhill. It's great that it has a private driveway, but if you're a subscriber to the channel, you would know that it's always better to have an uphill private driveway because it makes the property more majestic. Also, uphill, you won't have drainage issues if it floods, rain. The second element is that it doesn't really have a motor court. It has a private driveway, but you can't drive to the front of the property. It's kind of tucked in, which leads to the third flaw. You don't really have curb appeal. You can't see the property from the driveway. It's tucked in. You see part of the structure, but it's not center to the property.
This is where we have the front entry. Here we can get a peek of the architecture of this home, which is very unique, but we'll talk more on that later. Now, this hallway takes us to the entry courtyard of this home, which is very warm and inviting. And as we come up here, we have olive trees on each side, a lot of natural stones, and this space was designed to give you soothing energy and change your mood as you walk into the property. Right here, we have a board-formed concrete entry with solid oak pivoting front door. Now, let's go inside. All right, everyone, here we are at the entry. Before we start our tour, I want to briefly talk about the architecture of this home. This home consists of 3 structures with gable roofs, all joined together to create the interior space. Right now, we're inside of the center structure where we have the formal living room area. In architectural terminology, these structures are called volumes, so you'll be hearing me say that word quite often as we tour the property.
That's going to be kind of weird, you're telling your significant other, babe, come over to volume number 1. She's like, no, I'm in volume number 2. Like, let's get it on in volume number 3. But I want to talk about the history of this property, because this property first came on the market at $32 million and it did not sell. It took about a year for the property to sell and a lot of price reductions, and it finally sold for $23,225,000. Now you're thinking, Arvin, that's not bad for a property that is throwing a gang sign, right? Not everyone likes this architectural style. How much is it worth today? Well, I can tell you, at the time, this property actually, didn't sell for a really high price. And, the current owner, got a pretty decent deal. Considering all that information, I'm going to go to zipsmart.ai. This is a website I've created to track the market conditions. I'm going to go to zip code 90069. The blue line is the current market. The purple line is the forecast. You can see by November, there's a 5.6% market improvement for buyers, 40% confident. It's not really confident right now, but it updates every couple days. Here are all the indicators. So the declining factors, you can see they're 100% more price cuts than same time last year. Pending ratio is only 13%. Crime rate is D-, no surprises there. So it's likely for the property prices to come farther down. Now, considering that I actually think the current buyer got a pretty damn good deal, I think property prices haven't come that much lower and he got a good deal. I would say it's probably worth around 19.5 right now. Okay, back to the video.
Before we start talking about the living room, why don't we go this way, where we have the staircase taking us up to the second floor of this home, and where we have the powder room for the first floor. Beautiful natural stone vanity setup. They use the same natural stone as a back wall here. And Mikey, can you come closer? They use the same stone also here behind the toilet as well. Gorgeous. Now, let's go back to the formal living room area. And the scale of this room, the natural light coming in is just incredible. We have oak siding throughout this whole room, wrapping all the way to the vaulted ceilings, floor to ceiling glass, looking towards the incredible views of the city. And right here is where we have the entry, vein cut travertine floors throughout this level. And I want to briefly talk about this detail.
So it's kind of interesting. If you're thinking, Arvin, this kind of looks like a dry sauna, you're not so far off. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't mention this, but this is definitely, it's got a lot of inspiration from the Scandinavian architecture. And this is pretty common, very simplistic, a lot of natural wood. And it's the architectural style and the vibe and the aesthetic they're going with.
As we enter the property, we have a loft right above us, which is a little bit lower ceiling comparing to the vaulted ceiling at the main section of the formal living room area. The architect designed it this way so that when you enter the property, you're not overwhelmed with the scale of this room, because we have 30-foot high ceilings here. So as you walk in, first you go underneath the loft area, and then you open up to this space, and you're immediately drawn towards the incredible view.
That's not the main reason. You see, you remember the 3 volumes, and they've decided to not allocate a second story to the first volume. And if you don't put that loft there, you can't go from the left volume to the right volume without coming down. So you need a loft there to connect upstairs to each other.
They even installed this oak siding horizontally to really pull your attention towards the incredible views of the city. Right here, we have a seating area, and as we go this way, you have another seating area. And don't think this is the stager's fault. This is actually the designer's fault. When you allocate the formal living space, you put it right after foyer, and you want to get that wow factor, right? And you've architecturally decided to already go with this shape and form, right? This vaulted long 3 volumes. What are you going to do with the middle section? I'm going to ask you. There's a way to fix this, but there's 2 seating areas right next to each other, and that's difficult to figure out. I'm going to give you guys, few more seconds to figure this out. How could you redesign this area better so it's not stupid where you go from one seating area to another seating area, okay? Continue watching. Mikey, can we pan to the floors for a second? We have travertine tiles here with AC cutouts that beautifully blends in the AC diffusers on this level. Going this way, formal living room area, all opened up to the incredible views of the city, floor to ceiling glass panels on this section, and this is another cozy lounging space. Again, the volume here, the warmth is incredible, and right in front of the...
Okay, so there's 3 seating areas actually. There's a small seating area by the door where you would wait or, put on your shoes. This second seating area is completely just does not make any sense. I mean, you have 2 options to fix this situation. You can either put a piano, right, just some sort of an instrument, and that is very formal also, that would go with the formal living space. But the other thing that you're going to see later on in the video, the dining room by the kitchen is super small. What you could do is put a long dining table, right? Like an 8 or 10% dining table that is center. But that could, you know, kind of cram the space, and then people have to kind of split to go each direction of the table, and putting chairs on it could even make it more cramped. So again, it's not a perfect solution, but this is what you get when your architect decides to give this volume and make this wow factor really significant, and go with this architectural design to, you know, make a statement, right? To try to make this architecturally significant, right? So in that element, you know, 2 seating areas is one option. Put a piano, maybe a small like bar area, and also a formal dining table that is long centered, maybe with no chairs when no one is using it, and then you bring the chairs later to kind of not take so much from the volume.
Seating area is where we have the board form concrete gas fireplace. Looks gorgeous. You can actually see the patterns and the grains of the wood right here. Really adds warmth and texture to the space.
I got a 2-part question for you. 1, what are these holes about? 2, typically we see these board form concrete walls, these seams right here are typically like overflowing with concrete. Did they sand this smooth? Because this kind of has a different look than what we're used to seeing.
Well, those are both really good questions. Number 1, these are where you have your steel rods that actually holds the forms together, because when you pour the concrete, it expands. So you want to make sure your forms are really tight as you pour your concrete. Second part is, when you do these concrete and you wanted to have that architectural look, when you have your planks, you actually put silicone in between. So when you pour the concrete doesn't oozes out. So you have the texture, but it's not overflowing. Generally, we're used to seeing this finish on retaining walls. This is a little bit harder to do. It takes more work. Obviously, you got to run silicone between each plank, but the end product looks a little bit more uniformed,
which fits the Scandinavian style. Now, the ones that ooze out could also be used in a, you know, wine cellar or something more cozy or rustic, right? There's not one right way or wrong way of doing it. This fits this architectural style much better.
So we have a hallway right here joining the center volume.
All right, the hallway is narrow. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you know we've talked about hallways significantly, but pay attention to the flow of this home.
Volume on the left-hand side looking towards the view. Another lounging area and bar area.
So you went from 2 seating areas to a bar. It's supposed to be a bar, which is actually a kitchenette and is another seating area. So you've got 3 seating areas so far, right? Do you see what's starting to happen? Where the design of the house is dictating situations where it's just not ideal for the ideal living spaces, right? Like, and it's really idiotic to put a, you know, kitchenette instead of an actual bar. There should be a bar set up where there's stools where people hanging out. This does not make any sense to me.
Same concrete fireplace actually wraps around, and there's another fireplace on this side for this entertainment area right here. I love the bar section. It's kind of...
I hate the bar section. It really needed to have an actual bar. I don't understand why they've done this. It doesn't make any sense. You already have 2 living areas, 2 seating areas in the formal living space, and you just make this area also another seating area. You have to give it another function, right? Like, I have this other video, my favorite home. It has a lot of flaws too, but Ardi, the architect of that property, makes every room special, right? For a purpose. And this, you know, this is so redundant. And haven't thought, I was like, why would people use this room? You know, to look at the view. They were already doing that in the other room. You got to tell a different story. They don't.
Open on top with a stone open shelving with LED lighting underneath it. We have all the cabinetry here, your sink setup, ice maker, and a fridge. Check it out.
Let's get a look at that.
There you go.
We got my favorite, some LaCroix in there too.
Exactly. This is where you have your spirits, you know, and I always appreciate this detail when developers put a dishwasher.
I hate this knock situation. I just don't have the patience. I would want to yank it open.
This volume, this section of the home is all about amenities, and right next door is where we have the movie theater. Now, this is a really nice movie theater.
This is not a movie theater. This is a black room with a bunch of Restoration Hardware couches and 2 steps to make it look like a movie theater. This is like a black room. It's not a movie theater. It's the worst attempt at creating a movie theater. There's no element in it that would really give the vibe and energy in the ultra high end when you're asking $32 million, right? To give that energy and vibe. It's pretty weak movie theater.
It's a good mix of a lounge area and a screening room. We have 3-tier, comfortable seating here, plush carpet, suede walls. You can easily accommodate up to 12 people here. This is where you have your projector. And I really like that they light up each step so you see where you're going. Now, let's go back to the bar area. All right, everyone, like I mentioned, this section is all about amenities. Right here, we have another area, glass sliding doors pocketing into the walls, opening to the side of the property. And right here is where we have the home gym. Oak hardwood floors, nice and open space. We have the mirror wall right here.
It's not the biggest gym ever.
TV is mounted on this side. This is where you get your workout done. These glass pocketing doors pocket all the way to the side. Nice and private. We have olive trees on each side and ficus trees that gives you a lot of privacy.
I like where they've positioned the gym, right by the side yard, beautiful olive trees, just zen. It's a great place. You don't have to always put the, gym by the view. And we're going to talk about the challenges of the view of this property because what the architectural design has forced us to have, because you're not going to get that many view rooms from actually this building. But putting the gym by the side yard, great option, very zen, cool, I like it.
This amazing gym has an incredible bathroom, which is right here. Marble slabs everywhere. We have marble on the floors as well as the walls. We have the floating vanity design right here with the same marble as the countertop space, wall fixtures, and I personally love the walk-in shower here with the shampoo niche that really complements the gym area. Now let's go back out to the lounge area. And again, this volume on the left-hand side, the looking towards the view, it's all about the view. Even this space right here opens up. These glass panels pivot and open up to the outdoor space. We'll talk more on that later. Now, another cool detail of this home, each one of these volumes are connected to each other with this hallway.
That's not cool. That's like a fire hazard to me. I mean, this is how people, the stampages when people are trying to run away from an emergency happen, when fire breaks out, people get stuck in one area and start climbing over each other. There is no flow in this property. There's literally this, right? Like, there's no smooth transition from one area to another. No, this is your structured experience you're going to have in this room because the architect decided. And then you have to go through a little passageway. It doesn't have much waste. I'll give that credit to. You go to the other volume for another experience that the architect has decided for you. It's very much so a maze dictated by the architect, right? They are deciding your pathways. They're deciding which ways you have to go to get from one area to another area. It's dictated to you.
Right next door is where we have the family room, dining area.
Another sitting area. You have 3 sitting areas on the main center volume, 1 sitting area on the other one, and another sitting area. So 5 sitting areas on the first level. And look at how small that dining room is. That's like a breakfast nook or like a breakfast table. That's the family dining area. There is no formal dining space, and that's why I think if you actually put a beautiful table at the center instead of the second, the middle part, and don't put any chairs around it, you got to hide the chairs for somewhere when you have actually using it, and use that table for like candles and flowers to just kind of give some sort of a utility to that long formal living space. It would be a way better consideration of how to stage this property.
We are in the volume on the right hand side of the home, facing towards the view, and the same vein cut travertine floors are also brought in here. Again, we have the family room, dining room, and the kitchen. And this space also opens up to the backyard where we have floor to ceiling glass panels opening up towards the view. This is another lounging area. This is where we have the TV. And between this area and the kitchen is where we have...
That's a really small kitchen. Very, very small kitchen. And there's no stools. There's no like sitting area, right by the bar.
And now I want to talk about this minimalist kitchen design. We don't have any two-tone cabinetry here. Everything is very sleek and simple, neutral colors. I love the countertop design that they have here with the waterfall edge.
So the aesthetic design of the whole house is cohesive, right? They've kind of got their palette right. It's the Scandinavian kind of modern with the right colors, right material. Everything flows really good with each other. You got to give it to them. At least they didn't kind of deviate from it and start like, telling a different story in different rooms. But the kitchen is super, super small.
Mike, I have a cool detail for you. As I was touring this home, I was looking for plugs because when you have islands, you got to have plugs, right? and I couldn't find any plugs on the side. Guess what? Can we get a close up here? Cool little detail, and even this drawer is soft close. And going this way, this is where we have the Wolf gas stove with vent above it. Right behind me, we have the kitchen sink. They use the same countertops on the island. Also here, also as a backsplash, and I love how they kind of left this section open, magnifying the natural stone, and they use the same material to create this floating shelf design with LED lighting, as well as this section right here. Right next to the kitchen sink, dishwasher right here, and at the end of this kitchen is where we have the fridge and the freezer next door. Overall, I love this space. All open, very cozy, very inviting. Again, even from your kitchen, you can enjoy the incredible views that this property.
So, you know, the volume change from the center room to this room is pretty significant. It doesn't scream a, you know, really expensive house in this room. And again, the scale is pretty limited. As amazing of a scale your center, you know, volume had, this volume looks like a, you know, $5-6 million home or $4 million home. It's not really grand. It's pretty small. You know, you couldn't fit much stuff in there. A normal size, you know, sofa, seating arrangement, and then a 6-person dining room and a single island bar or kitchen. Not that impressive.
Now, let's go back to the hallway. And right underneath that staircase is where we have the wine cellar. This is a 200 bottle wine cellar. And
that's a stretch. That's where you put your suitcases, okay? I wouldn't call this a wine cellar. I mean, technically it is a wine cellar, but it's really not a wine cellar.
As you guys can hear, it's temperature controlled, and I really like how they make the best out of this space to maximize the storage capacity here. Now, going back to the hallway, right behind the main kitchen is where we have the chef's kitchen.
Okay, this is not really a chef's kitchen. It's kind of like the, you know, prep kitchen. It's the same look and feel as the main kitchen, right? It doesn't have the industrial, you know, serious chef material, but it's good to have because the other one was really, really small.
Caterer's kitchen.
Caterer's kitchen. There we go. Caterer's kitchen. That's a better term for it.
A small replica of your main kitchen. We have the same finishes here, same cabinetry. Another one of these. Miele dishwashers, right? You've got your sink, you have your pot filler, induction cooktop, your vent above it, and plenty of microwaves and built-ins right here. And let's not forget, at the end of this room is where we have the pantry space.
Remember the pantry space. Okay, we're going to talk about this.
Now going back to the hallway, right across, we have another powder room. We have a fabricated floating vanity design right here with LED lit mirror. Right across, laundry room.
Okay, if there are two rooms in a house that hate each other and always competing with each other over space, is the pantry and the laundry room. It's like the architectural drama always when they're, you know, they kind of have to be next to each other, close to each other typically. When you make one small, you make the other one big, right? So this had a really small pantry and pretty out of position. I mean, think about if you're not having a chef cooking for you, you're in the kitchen, you have to walk all the way to the end of the chef's kitchen, go to the end to pick up the, you know, stuff that you want from the pantry. Very small. But then you got a 4, you know, 2 washing machines, 2 dryers, pretty solid sized laundry room with a lot of counter space. That's the war, you know, they hate each other.
Plenty of countertop space, and right here we have additional countertop space. They use butcher's block here. I thought that was a little unique touch. Now, this hallway continues, and right in front of me is where we have one of the 2-car garages of this home. Clean epoxy floors. Again,
this is not an impressive garage. You know, it looks like a townhouse with a 2-car garage here.
Right here, we have another hallway that is taking us to an access point from the exterior, as well as the other 2-car garage with same finishes. And we have a mudroom right here with plenty of storage, and another staircase going up to the 2nd floor of this home. Let's take this one real quick. Up the stairs is where we have this guest suite. The reason we wanted to cover this room right now is the only way to access here is through the 1st floor, and we are in fact right above the 2-car garages that are front facing.
Notice you're not getting any views from this guest room. Okay, this is a view property. You're literally on one of the best promontories in Hollywood Hills where you get really, really good views.
Right here, we have this gorgeous bathroom. They use Calacatta marble to clad the walls all the way to walk-in shower, and they use the same marble to fabricate this beautiful floating vanity design with hidden drains. And we have the walk-in shower here with shampoo niche, and again, hidden drains. Overall, gorgeous bathroom. Now let's take the stairs, go back to the main volume where we have the formal living room area and continue our tour. All right, everyone, so we are back at the main volume where we have the formal living room area. Overall, I love the first floor of this home.
I hate the first floor of this home. I think really the architectural design dictate the whole experience for you in not an ideal way. All the first floor is doing right now is just helping the architect to make a statement. We're going to talk about at the end of the video. Is this statement, is this iconic, is this significant that you would say, you know, bow down to the architect and say, you know, thanks for controlling and directing every step I take in this house according to your instructions, because I live in something special and I should feel honored.
Particularly this area because of the ceiling heights, and I love how the wood cladding is drawing your attention all the way towards this incredible view of the city. In fact, why don't we open up these glass doors and check out the backyard?
All right, let's talk about privacy. There are about 2 houses that kind of look into the property. Overall, not bad, because again, this promontory really sticks out. And you have very few houses that look in. One on this side, I think 1 or 2 on the other side. It's not so bad.
All right, everyone, now we have the main volume opened up to the backyard space. These doors are really cool. Actually, once you open them up, they stay in this position, and they're made by Styline.
So why doesn't it have pocket doors? Because of the architectural design again, right? So they have forced to do pivot doors, which pocket door, if it was completely seamless, it would have opened, it would have been good. But because the next volume starts right next to you on the other side, you can't pocket these doors.
And now we have that perfect indoor-outdoor feel, and each one of these volumes carries out to their own patio spaces, and they use the same vein cut travertine also here, just like the first floor of this home, to create that perfect seamless indoor-outdoor feel. Right here, we have another architectural detail, board form concrete fire pit, perfectly focused towards the incredible views that this backyard gets. And on each side, we have the AstroTurf area, and again, patio spaces that complement each section of the home. I'm not gonna go there, but on the right-hand side, we actually have a barbecue area where you can access it from the family room. And let's talk about this incredible infinity edge pool. This is a 73 feet infinity edge pool, all focused towards the incredible views of the city. We have the Baja shelf right here, spa on this side, and right here we have the steps that takes you to the deep side of the pool. And what's nice about it is that you're in the pool, you're either looking towards the incredible view, or if you're facing the other side, you're looking towards the unbelievable architecture of this home. And in fact, from here, we can get a really good look at the overall exterior look of this home. So I want to briefly talk about that. The design and the setting of this home is very unique, and this 3-gable modern...
So another aspect of having an iconic property, it needs to be in the right location and in the right setting, okay? You need to make the property somewhere that actually integrates with the land really well, okay? And pay attention to that as well.
And this 3-gable design is actually a little bit separated from each other, and we have space in between, which in return on the inside allows the architects to position the staircase, powder rooms, as well as that beautiful concrete board form fireplace. By doing that, each space feels more open and actually draws your attention towards the views. And lastly, that gap in between each volume, that space actually joins each volume together vertically and kind of uniforms the exterior architecture. This property is again very unique, incredible architecture, and the setting right here is also what makes this home so special. We are up on a knoll looking towards the entire city, all the way from the ocean to downtown LA.
Okay, let's talk about the views, because you really don't get the downtown LA view. Downtown looks over here, but from this elevation is the drone elevation. You got to come like 20-30 feet lower. This building gets to block downtown LA view. You might be able to get a glimpse from the infinity edge view if you stick your head out, look, maybe very, very partial downtown LA view. And then your 𝗕nciry city view is also not center, right? So you don't really have that focal point of a view. 𝗕nciry city is all the way on the right side of the view. It's kind of a little bit, blocked. Overall, I'll rate this view as a 6. It's a city view. It's open, semi-panoramic, right? There's an openness about it. It's unobstructed, but it's just a city view.
We are elevated enough to get plenty of privacy, but yet only 3 minutes away from the Sunset Strip. You're in the heart of the city, minutes away from Beverly Hills. Now, let's take the stairs and tour the second floor. All right, everyone, so we're back inside here at the formal living room area. Just like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we have a staircase right here taking us up to the second floor of this home. And just like we talked about it on the outside, we have the space between each volumes right here where we have the staircase and the skylight, bringing a ton of natural light in as you come up to the second floor landing. On my left hand side, we have the left structure where we have all the guest suites, and on the right hand side, we have the master bedroom. We're gonna start right here with this bedroom, currently outfitted as an office. Vaulted ceilings, this room gets plenty of natural light, and just imagine having an office like this looking towards the view.
Look how narrow this bedroom is. It's really not a bedroom. There's a very, very strong reason why they've decorated staged it as an office, because if you put a bed out this way, you pretty much hit the window trying to go around it, and you can't really put a bed against the wall. So it's really an office, and this is super important because this is a view property and you only get one bedroom on the view side. Do you know why? Because the architect does not believe in the philosophy of form follows function. The function has to follow form, because in the middle structure you don't get any bedrooms because you decided to go all out on it, right? And then you're dictated to put bedrooms all on one side, stacked next to each other against the view, and it's a decision that if you purchase this property, you just have to go with, because you're only gonna get one bedroom that is gonna have views.
But in case you're sick of this view and you want some privacy, guess what? You have automatic shades throughout the whole home. We wanted to show it right here.
Yeah, we really should have showed these to you guys earlier.
Okay, so the automatic blinds are kind of showing it's not really ultra luxury. The really nice way of doing it is they're covered, so they're seamless. You don't see it, you just see the blind coming down. It's kind of cheaping it out.
All right, let's push the curtains back up. And right here, although this room is outfitted as an office, this is still a bedroom. You still get a walk-in closet. This is a door that accesses to the side deck that we have that is shared by all the guest bedrooms. We'll show that later. And right here is where we have the full bathroom. Again, beautiful natural stone finishes, floating vanity design, and the same natural stone is carried all the way to the walk-in shower with hidden drains. Now, let's go back to the hallway and continue our tour. Again, we're on the left wing of the house looking towards the view, and the door on my right-hand side is the second bedroom. Oak hardwood floors are on this level, great space. Again, plenty of natural light. Right here is where we have the walk-in closet.
Pretty small walk-in closet.
This bedroom also has an ensuite bathroom, floating vanity setup here, and just like the other bathrooms that we toured, they carried out the same stones all the way into the showers. In this case, you actually get a tub setup here, you get your shampoo niche. They're all timeless pieces. And like I mentioned in the office, we got an outdoor deck here. Come on in. This outdoor space is shared by 3 guest suites that are on this level.
I like this, right? It's cool that, you have an outdoor space for the 3 bedrooms at this side, but the fact that you don't get any views from these bedrooms and you're on a view property is a major, major negative, right? Like, again, the architect was more concerned about making a statement than actual giving functionality to the rooms to have a good experience for the residents of the building.
And it's nice to have an outdoor space for these bedrooms on the second floor. Now, going back inside. Next door is the 3rd guest bedroom suite. Each one of these bedrooms are extremely spacious. They all get a ton of natural light. Again, they all have an access to the outdoor space, and another ensuite bathroom. Different kind of stone, but the same cabinetry finishes with the floating vanity, and the same stone again was carried out all the way to the walk-in shower. Now let's go back to the hallway, and this is the landing, the loft area right above the entry of this home. This section is really cool. You get an overlook at your formal living room area, and you can kind of really appreciate the scale of this area because you're closer to the vaulted ceiling. The wood gives so much warmth. And right here, it almost serves like a little landing area. We have a seating section right here. Walls are perfect to feature your art. And going this way, this is kind of scary.
It's interesting, when you have wood paneling walls, it really dictates what type of art you can hang on it, because the framing is wood, and it's this painting fits perfectly. I love the green, the white. It's abstract and it's simple in design, so it goes really well. But not that many other paintings would work on a wood paneling background. It really is part of the art, right? So it dictates only a specific type of art that works with the palette of the wood that is behind it.
I can see the front door from here. This is allowing the natural light from this section of the glass to bring it to the entry of this home. Something unique, something different. Again, seeing it in this house, I'm not surprised. On our left-hand side, we have the staircase coming up from the family room, and this door opens up to your master suite. On my right-hand side, we have the bedroom and 2 closets.
Now, pay attention to the layout of the primary suite.
So let's start this way. We have some storage area on our right-hand side, and this is where we have the double vanity setup. They use the 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗦 marble for the countertop space for this floating vanity design, and they use the same marble to also fabricate the sinks with hidden drain.
Okay, I want to talk about the developer of this project. They developed maybe 20 different properties, from the, probably 2016 to all the way 2022. And they kind of had this aesthetic repeated over almost every single home they did, right? And most of these finishes were almost identical to each other. Now, they were high caliber, they were very neutral where they would not age really bad. So good decisions, good economic decisions, and good selling features where you're not making such a strong statement to alienate certain buyers, right? Very good execution, right color palettes, they all worked, but all their projects kind of looked similar to each other. And I don't know how you feel about that. Some people might say, look, I would like a little bit more bespoke. And I know a lot of people who bought these properties and they did modifications to them to make it more bespoke. But one thing is clear from the people who've purchased these properties, they've had a very good experience with this builder where the build quality was there. There's actually been many years that has passed since this developer has, finished the projects. And from what I've heard from people who live in these projects, they're very happy with the build quality. They haven't had that many problems.
That marble is nicely flush with the drywall above, and if you look above that, we actually have skylights bringing natural light in to the master bathroom. Overall, great design, plenty of storage. On our right-hand side, we have 2 water closets, and going this way, they use the same 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗦 wrapped around this wall, and we are behind the floating vanity design, and this is where we have the walk-in shower. I mean, they book match the slabs from the floors to the walls all the way to ceiling here. It's all marble, looks gorgeous, it's timeless, and they use the same marble to create this bench design right here, tuck all the drains underneath it. Great bathroom, gets natural light from the both sides. And going this way, this is where we have the freestanding tub. Again, they use the same marble, nicely flush, recessed in to the walls.
Good position for the bathtub to get views and no one really looks in. I like that.
And this is a good sized freestanding tub. And we have a floor mount tub filler right here. And of course, we're in Hollywood Hills. Your tub overlooks to the incredible views. Now we have another hallway here. And the door on our left-hand side opens up to the bigger master closet. This is one of the 2. And I love the millwork here. It's all uniformed. It's all neutral colors. Right next door, another closet. This one is a little bit smaller, same finishes, but you still get all the qualities that you got on the other walk-in closet. And now I feel like we're zigzagging. It's a big master bedroom suite. And right here is the most important part of the master suite.
Did you notice that? Like, you have to go through your bathroom or walk-in closets to get to the bedroom. It's not ideal, but again, it's all dictated by these 3 gable roof structures, right? That's the form you get. That's what you're gonna have to deal with.
We have the king-size bed right here. Obviously, vaulted ceilings. It's all open, geared towards this incredible view. Just like the first floor, we have the minimalist details here as well. AC diffusers are nicely blended into the hardwood floors. Of course, we have the automatic shades. And just like the office, we have these glass doors stacking to the side, opening up this master bedroom to the incredible views. You even get a little bit of a balcony here, almost like a Juliet balcony, but you can actually step outside. And of course you have a glass railing here because you don't want to take anything away from the views of the bedroom. On the right hand side, we actually have a little bit of a seating area right here. Another unique detail, they actually run the oak siding vertically here instead of horizontally like the rest of the house to kind of change things up a little bit. I just realized this detail as we were shooting this video. You can actually close this section off where you have your wet bar. That's cool. Pretty cool, right?
I didn't think I would say this, but this little seating area over here, this little nook, might be one of my favorite parts of the house. That seems like a great spot just to hang out and read.
That was a Freudian slip by Mikey. The whole experience, he saw this $32 million house, all these volumes, all this stuff. But what happened to him? He felt uncomfortable. The architect, instead of making him comfortable in the space, he made him uncomfortable, where he found this little rat hole nook as the most comfortable place where he would want to hang out with. And that tells you everything about this property you need to know.
I feel like throughout these tours, we mention this all the time, but just imagine laying on that bed, waking up or going to sleep to this incredible view. We live in Los Angeles. This is such an energetic, dynamic city. And this setting right here is arguably one of the most unique settings we've ever seen in Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, this is really incredible. Not only the architecture, but also just the view you get. You have Pacific Design Center down here, Beverly Center. On a clear day, you can see all the way to the water.
Doesn't really have ocean view. We don't count that as ocean view. The view is a 6 max, a solid 6.
And we wouldn't be doing justice to a home like this unless we spent a few more hours here and check out the property at dusk. Well, we just saw the home at night.
Okay, do you think it's iconic or not? There's no right or wrong answer. I don't think it's iconic, and I'll tell you guys why. Number one, historical importance, cultural impact, or symbolic value. I don't think it's historical. There's no cultural impact of this property in the future. Aesthetically appealing to multiple generations. I actually thought of this property more of an artistic property 4 or 5 years ago when it came out. But as time has passed, I actually think less of the property. So to me, it's not really withstanding time, right? It seems more of like a cool trend that happened. It's not going to change. It's not going to inspire a new set of architects in the future. Third, innovative features. I don't see any innovation in this. This is like a Scandinavian inspired modern design for me. It's cool, but it's not really innovating. Architectural significance in a right location, right, and right setting. This is a really tricky one, because if you even argue that it's architecturally significant, which I don't, okay, but let's assume it does. For it to be in the right setting and right location, shouldn't it be able to be visible? This property, you don't have any curb appeal. Your backyard is so small that you have to go all the way back to the freaking infinity edge pool to be able to look at the property to enjoy it, and no one else can see the property. So the architect has decided to make a statement, an architectural statement, and go against a very popular philosophy that form follows function. And I'm not saying architects should not break that rule. You're more than welcome to break that rule. But you have to do it at a setting that if you're making a very strong statement, people can actually enjoy the look and feel of the property. You don't have curb appeal from the front, and no one from the back could see the property. So you're just making a freaking statement for the sake of making a statement and forcing the poor residents to go through like mouse mazes to live by the architectural standard that, you wanted to make a significant impact on the society, right? It doesn't do it. If this was visible from a lot of different angles and it was on a, some setting where you could actually see the property, at least at the front upon approach or from the backyard, then I would say, okay, maybe. Okay, the last but not the least, is it memorable? Yes, absolutely. It's very memorable. But so is walking on your parents doing it. That's very memorable as well. To me, it doesn't pass enough of these criteria. It needs to have more of these elements to be considered iconic. But if you want to see a property that is my favorite, click on this video. I'll see you in the comments. Take care.